Good morning. Please take your seats. Chancellor, Your Royal Highness, colleagues and friends of the University of Aberdeen, it's my great pleasure to offer you a very warm Aberdonian welcome to this ceremony. Today, our Chancellor, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Rothesay, will confer honorary degrees upon Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal and Professor Janet Darbyshire. An award for outstanding service to the community will also be presented to the Denis Law Legacy Trust. The University of Aberdeen was established in 1495 with the purpose of being open to all and dedicated to the pursuit of truth in the service of others. Action in the service of others is reflected strongly in each of the awards which will be conferred today, as we continue to recognise and support those who make a positive impact on the world around us. I'd now like to invite our Chancellor to deliver her welcome address. Chancellor.
Thank you, Professor Boyne, for your kind words of welcome. Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, as your Chancellor, it's a great pleasure to be here once again with you all. And I'm delighted I will shortly have the opportunity to present the Principal's Award for Outstanding Service to the Community and 2 honorary degrees. May I warmly congratulate the Denis Law Legacy Trust, Professor Janet Darbyshire, and the Princess Royal. Now, I'm not sure if there's a collective noun for chancellors, but my sister-in-law is, of course, also Chancellor of another great Scottish university, the University of Edinburgh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall have no talk of rivalry today, but I might just casually observe that while we are celebrating our 525th birthday next month, the University of Edinburgh is comparatively youthful, a mere 437 years old. The University of Aberdeen was founded in February 1495 during the reign of King James IV of Scotland, whose marriage to Margaret Tudor linked for the first time the royal houses of Scotland and England. By a happy coincidence, another great Scottish institution was born in the same year. It is in 1495 that we find the earliest written record of the distillation of Scotch whisky. And next month, your proud Chancellor will make sure she toasts your birthday with a wee dram. Now, just as I'm proud to be Chancellor of such a fine institution, so are you rightly proud of the university's extraordinary heritage. You must be even prouder of what it's achieving today and its ambitions for the years ahead. Ambitions that are inspired by the university's founding purpose, to be open to all and dedicated to the pursuit of truth in the service of others. Your history has been remarkable, and your future is set to be very exciting. And I'm much looking forward to seeing all your new developments as they come to fruition in the next few years. More immediately, in a moment, I'm looking forward to hearing the chamber choir perform a new work by the head of music, Dr. Philip Cook. It's called The Mystery of Light. It's a mystery and is set to the words taken from The Living Mountain, the poet Nan Shepherd's famous book, based on her experiences of hill walking in the Cairngorms. The words highlight the relationship between nature, place, and people, never more relevant than today. As you know, Nan Shepherd graduated from the university 100 years ago, She taught at Aberdeen College of Education, now part of the Schools of Education, for her whole career. So she is part of the fabric of the university too. I believe she is the first of Aberdeen's graduates to appear on a Scottish £5 note. I trust that in your anniversary year there will be someone graduating who will become the second graduate of this university to feature on the currency of the realm. Your Royal Highness, I should reassure you that on the back of the Scottish pound note are words from the poet Sorley MacLean, a graduate of the University of Edinburgh. I will finish with a quotation from Nan Shepherd. Famously, she wrote in her book, The Quarrywood, "It's a grand thing to get leave to live." This is a university with an extraordinary heritage of giving its students and its graduates leave to live. You will no doubt continue to do so over the next 525 years. May I congratulate you all and wish you well for the future. Thank you very much.
Professor Campbell.
Chancellor, I present to you for the award of the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa, Professor Janet Darbyshire. Professor Janet Darbyshire has been a beacon of leadership in the international sphere of clinical trials for more than 40 years. Her research has had a significant impact on world health, and she's championed the role of women in science and medicine. She has been an unwavering advocate for the inclusion of the interests of patients and policymakers in her research, and remains an outstanding role model for a whole generation of clinical trialists. After qualifying in medicine at the University of Manchester in 1970, Professor Derbyshire held positions at Manchester Royal Infirmary and subsequently moved to London, where she specialised in respiratory medicine. In 1974, she joined the UK's Medical Research Council's Tuberculosis and Chest Diseases Unit, coordinating a programme of clinical trials of tuberculosis treatments in Africa. The outcome of these trials played a key role in the establishment of treatment for tuberculosis worldwide. In 1989, Professor Derbyshire then became head of the new MRC's HIV Clinical Trial Centre in London, where she applied her experience in tuberculosis to develop a global programme of clinical trials to tackle HIV infection. Professor Derbyshire's work in HIV characterises her unwavering commitment to building and strengthening of clinical research capacity in countries with little or no previous expertise in clinical trials. She has worked tirelessly to support the identification of proven clinical treatments that can improve population health across low and middle-income countries. In the late 1990s, Professor Derbyshire then went on to establish and direct the Medical Research Council's Clinical Trials Unit, where her research and leadership provided vital drive and support for the development of clinical trials capacity here in the UK and across the UK's scientific community. Her knowledge and expertise in clinical trials ensured the development of safe and effective medicines, saving millions of lives and preventing disease in the UK and right across the world. Professor Derbyshire was awarded an OBE in 1996 and again a CBE in 2010 for services to clinical sciences. She was also the recipient of the Medical Research Council's Millennium Medal in January 2018. This is awarded every 2 years to an outstanding scientist who has made a major contribution to improve human health through world-class medical research. She was the first ever female recipient of that award and continues to be internationally recognised as an outstanding leader and role model for women in medicine and science. Professor Darbyshire has also been a very long-time advocate and supporter of the global programme of clinical trials research led here from the University of Aberdeen. She served as the chair of our international advisory group for many years, providing mentorship and advice, and we are truly honoured to have gained from her insight and experience. Chancellor, in recognition of her outstanding contribution towards the scientific advancement of clinical trials, her impact on world health over many years, and for championing the role of women in science and medicine, it is my true honour and privilege to invite you to confer upon Professor Janet Darbyshire the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Thank you.
Valedictorian Creo. Very nice.
Now the chamber choir is going to move to the front of the hall, and the Mystery of Light, conducted by Mr. Sam Paul, will be performed by the University of Aberdeen Chamber Choir. The University of Aberdeen Chamber Choir, conducted by Mr. Sam Paul, will premiere a music by composer and head of music at the university, Dr. Philip Cook, entitled The Mystery of Light. It is set to a short section of The Living Mountain, 1977, by the Aberdeen graduate Nan Shepherd. Her dates were 1893 to 1981. Philip Cook was inspired by the text as it showcases a region with close connections to the royal family, the Cairngorms, and it highlights the relationships between nature, place, and people.
It is the eye. It is the eye that discovers. It is the eye. It is the eye that discovers. It is the eye that discovers. It is the eye that discovers. discovers the mystery of love.
Chancellor, I present to you for the Principal's Award for Outstanding Service to the Community, the Denis Law Legacy Trust. Denis Law will be a familiar name to many here today, and we are delighted he is here to receive this award alongside Graham Tom, Chairman of the Denis Law Legacy Trust. Denis grew up in Aberdeen's Woodside and began his football career at Kitty Brewster Primary School before moving to Powys Junior School. His talents were soon spotted, and at the age of 15, he joined the professional ranks at Huddersfield Town. His career then took him first to Manchester City, then to Italy, where he signed for Torino, setting a new British record transfer fee before returning to Manchester, but this time to Manchester United. He became a pivotal part of the hugely successful side of the 1960s that would win 2 championships and, of course, become the first English side to win the European Cup in 1968. In his 11 years at Manchester United, Denis made 404 appearances and scored 237 goals and was known simply as the King by those who filled the Stretford end. In 1964, his standing was affirmed when he won the coveted European Player of the Year award, the only Scot ever to have been awarded this honour. For Scotland, he would go on to score 30 goals in 55 matches, making him, with Kenny Dalglish, Scotland's record goalscorer. In 2005, Denis received an honorary degree from this university for his determination to succeed, professionalism and dedication to be the best throughout his career. Denis would later remark, "Sport played a very important part of my childhood, and I firmly believe that the experiences and enjoyment that kids get from physical activity will stay with them forever." The Denis Law Legacy Trust was established to deliver this vision across the northeast of Scotland, particularly supporting those in need from deprived areas in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. The Trust is a registered charity that delivers free programmes and positive destination activities which enable young people to take part in and gain access to sport and other creative activities. It supports and empowers them to be confident, capable, independent and responsible citizens within their own communities. Through its work, the Trust aims to reduce instances of youth crime and antisocial behaviour, promote health and well-being through sport, physical activity and creative endeavour. Its activities currently engage more than 18,000 participations per year across a range of age groups and include a wide variety of opportunities that help to contribute to healthier and safer local communities. The Denis Law Legacy Trust has also championed the creation of 2 multi-purpose community sports facilities in Aberdeen in partnership with the Johan Cruyff Foundation and Aberdeen City Council. They have both proved very popular in their communities and will be of great benefit to young people in the city for years to come. Chancellor, in recognition of the invaluable work they carry out, It's my great honour and privilege to invite you to award Mr Denis Law CBE and Mr Graham Tom, on behalf of the Denis Law Legacy Trust, with the Principal's Award for Outstanding Service to the Community.
Professor Boyne.
Chancellor, I present to you for the award of the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal. Her Royal Highness began her public duties at the age of 18, when her first engagement was the opening of an educational and training centre in 1969. Since then, she has established significant and ongoing relationships with charities and organisations across the Commonwealth. Her Royal Highness has made major contributions to public life and sport over more than 4 decades. She is involved with more than 300 charities in the UK and overseas, and she devotes a large part of her working life to official engagements in support of regional and local institutions. Much of her work has related to education and Scottish-based charities. Notably, she is patron of Medical Research Scotland, which supports high-quality clinicians and scientists working in Scotland's universities and hospitals. The Princess Royal has visited the University of Aberdeen several times over a number of years, including in her capacities as patron of the medical research charity Tenevis Scotland, patron of British Universities and Colleges Sport, and founder of the Princess Royal Trust for Carers. In 2010, she also formally opened the Sutty Centre for Teaching and Learning in Healthcare at the university's Forester Hill campus. Her Royal Highness is also a well-known sportswoman and horse rider who was a member of the British eventing team for several years, and she participated in the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games. Although no longer competing, she remains involved in sport and is now chair of the International Olympic Committee Members Election Commission, which plays an important role in the Olympic Agenda 2020. Chancellor, in recognition of her many years of outstanding public service, support of many educational and research-based charities, and contributions to sport, it is my great pleasure to invite you to confer on Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Domina Cancellaria, Enuenti Senato, presento tibi hanc feminam, virtute eminentissimam, ad gradium doctoratus in utroque iure constituendam, caput eos in signum periotu ornando, quod ut Felix vastumque sit, deum optimum maximum precor. And our second choir is coming to the front of the hall, and they will sing the Song of the Ocean, composed and conducted by Professor Paul Milor, accompanied by Dr. John Frederick Hudson, and it will be performed by the Science Sings Choir. The Science Sings Choir is made up of staff from all over the university, and they'll perform this new work by the renowned composer, Professor Paul Milor, accompanied by John Hudson, with words by the acclaimed Welsh poet and lyricist, Dr. Graham Davies. This performance aims to reflect the relationships between science and the arts and to bring greater awareness of these important environmental issues through the universal language of music. Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, will now address the company.
Your Royal Highness and Chancellor, Vice Principal Chancellor, Ladies and gentlemen, well, it's a real honour for all of us today to be granted these awards, but particular thank you for the award of this honorary doctorate to myself and to Professor Janet Darbyshire, and to the award to the Denis Law Legacy Foundation. Professor Janet Darbyshire and I have met before because, not very surprisingly, her interest area has been very important to particularly organisations like the Save the Children, which I've been involved in possibly for longer than almost any other charitable link, apart from writing for the Disabled Association. But those links have been really important, not least of all the evidence-based clinical research that she did, which the founder of the Save the Children, Eglantine Jebb, really felt was the key to making a difference in people's lives. So I'm particularly delighted that she's been awarded here today as well. The recognition here in Aberdeen is important because of that link and because of the work that they have been doing here for many years. You mentioned opening the Sutty Centre for Teaching and Learning in Healthcare, which again was a step forward in the teaching process. But many years ago, I came up, funnily enough, to Peterhead to see one of the earliest examples of telemedicine, which was, of course, linked to the university here. And I have since reminded myself of that and wondered why I haven't seen more telemedicine being practiced. And it's also why, under a different Chancellor's headship, that I've focused on encouraging through the University of the Highlands and Islands. It's hugely relevant here in Scotland as it is in many countries around the world. And that pioneering work was done, a lot of that work was done here in Aberdeen. Denis Law must be wondering what he's done to deserve this, but he and I shared the front row and we sat together at the recent Sports Personality of the Year here in Aberdeen. But it's equally really nice to see him being recognised, and the organisation here based in Aberdeen, for the impact it's had here. There was no doubting the fondness for him as an individual here in Aberdeen, and this impact locally is equally important, and I'm delighted that he's also here today to be recognised, and indeed as the chairman of the Legacy Fund, to be recognised for this very important local link. Sport is important in people's lives, and I think that's particularly true here in university life. Yes, people come here for academic education, but they come here for a lot more than that. Part of which is what we've been listening to, the ability to join in things like choir and musical groups of all sorts, but also to practice sport of many different varieties. But the basis of sport needs to be very close to home, in schools, where you can gain access to it at its earliest point in your life, and to be supported through that. All of that work to raise that profile and to make it possible for people to help as volunteers and as leaders, for young people to gain the additional knowledge and understanding through working together, whether that's in music or in sport or in other activities. The importance of sharing a bit more of your lives, of meeting together with other people to be able to debate properly and to learn that degree of tolerance about differences, which is part of what university life can help you do, and broaden your perspectives of the importance of other people's perspectives. One of the things that I've perhaps learnt most from Save the Children is that wherever you go in the world, there are some things which are really common to humanity. And a lot of that is around children and the ambitions that parents have for their children in terms of growing up as healthy individuals, but also their access to education and training. That remains an ambition for people around the world. It may be done slightly differently in different languages, but that ambition is a shared ambition, and it is something we should all celebrate. And we can celebrate that very much today in terms of what this university in Aberdeen has been doing, as we have been reminded, for longer than almost anybody else. And let's face it, seniority in age or the passage of time is certainly worth celebrating when it reflects excellence in achievement. And that's not easy to do over 525 years. So that's well worth celebrating. Your fellow universities, particularly here in Scotland, have much to look up to and to try and emulate. And all of us need to work, and preferably together, to give that best possible inspiration to those who study, and what you've been doing to help those who study here. So can I add my congratulations to this distinguished and ancient university, not just on growing old gracefully, but remaining influential and innovative while it does so. Those of you who have honoured today, are delighted to be linked to your future. Thank you.
Can I ask the company, please, to stand and sing God Save the Queen?